Welcome to my DJI Mini 2 review. I really love that they kept the portable format that is exactly the same size as the original Mavic Mini. The story is of course a bit different when you compare the remotes. OcuSync 2.0, what a relief. Flying up to 500 meters without any breakups at all. I'm not a range guy, I never exceed 500 meters, so for me this has been a super pleasant surprise with a real stable connection to the drone, unlike what I experienced with the previous model. I really like the propeller strap. That's a nice feature that at least most of the time keep track of the propellers. And it's very easy to take off. It's just to flick off this button and then everything is released and ready to go. It feels a lot more sturdy than the original Mavic. The plastic is a different kind. It's much stiffer and it feels like a real Mavic, even though it's not called Mavic anymore. It handles extremely well for a sub 250 gram drone. It also feels a lot more punchy. I don't know if this is due to the new battery type, but it feels more punchy and you can definitely feel that it has more power to fight the wind. Flying this 250 gram drone feels like you're flying a much more expensive drone like the Mavic 2 Pro or such. At least I fly it with the same confidence. Yeah, I know if you're flying in high windy conditions, the Mini is no match for the Mavic 2 Pro here in the background. But still, it feels and flies like a DJI drone is supposed to. There is tons of battery in this remote, so there's a reason why it's so big as it is. So that's pretty handy, especially if you, like me, always have a phone that is drained for juice when you are out flying, that you can charge it with this remote and not have to worry about having enough juice to complete at least a 3 battery flight. It's very nice that you have a function button here that is customizable, that you can use for switching between the live view and the map view, and you can also use it for tilting the gimbal up and down. So that's very nice. Pretty smart move from DJI is that all the accessories that fits the original Mini also fits the Mini 2. Meaning that if you have bought expensive ND filters for your Mini 1, you will be able to use them for your Mini 2. So that's a really nice thing. The same goes for prop guards, landing gear or whatever gear that you could sort of buy for the original one, that will fit on this one. DJI made it so you can actually use your old Mini 1 batteries in your Mini 2 if you like to do that. The only downside to this is that with this type of battery, the lithium-ion battery, that is heavier than the LiPo batteries, the drone's total weight will exceed the 250 grams. It will end up in a total of 258 grams as far as I recall. Registering the drone is not such a big deal, so it's a nice option to have. It's a nice way to expand your flight time if you already own a Mavic Mini. Being able to use your old batteries in the drone might make you opt for the standard model instead of the Fly More combo. Many of you have asked me how is the performance, how's the flight time, how does it handle when you're using the original Mini batteries in your DJI Mini 2. I've been out testing that, and in case the video has been released when you're watching this, you will be able to access it through this card. If not, then you should consider subscribing to my weekly tips, tests and tutorials by hitting the subscribe button below as well as the bell so you don't miss out when this video is going to be released. The Mini 2 GPS locks onto the Galileo satellites as well, so that makes it very easy for you to get satellite lock. You would easily see a lock of 15 to 22 satellites, which is a lot more than at least I'm used to. Despite that I do most of my filming manually operating the sticks of the drone, then I do love the quick shots. I think they're very nice, and it's if you just need something quick, it's a very convenient way to do it. One of the previous downsides to this was that it was limited to 1080p, but now you can shoot them in 4K, and that is super nice. You can get up to 4 times zoom if you decide to record in 1080p. 2 times lossy and 2 times lossless. If you shoot in 4K, the zoom is limited to a factor 2. This is definitely something that I've come to like a lot more than I would expect. You can shoot raw photos with this drone. Imagine that you have a portable drone that fits in your pocket that will allow you to shoot raw photos. This is really amazing. And that will offer you a lot more options in post-production to put in some sweet love it into your drone photos. Also, DJI has added a whole new menu point called Panorama, where you can shoot panoramas, surprise. But that's not the biggest asset in there. The biggest asset in my world is the white image. That is basically a white image that is stitched from 9 individual photos. So if you are shooting from the same position, you can go from something like this to something like this without moving the drone an inch. Both the single photo and the wide angle is available as RAW. You have now the possibility to record 4K video. I have been testing this. I have shot footage on 2.7K for each drone in the same location at the same time. That will allow you easily to compare footage from each drone. And trust me, the difference is not as big as you would think. In case you want to evaluate this by yourself, you can access this video through this card. I really like the new bag. That has really grown on me after I have started using it. It seems all your stuff fits nicely in here. You can have all the loose accessories in this pocket up here. And then you can fit in the remote in this pocket. You can have the charging cradle here that hosts all the batteries, and the drone fits nicely here in the end. Then there's stuff for additional things like my field recorder that can simply just go here on top here. I could put in the extra batteries like this, and everything fits nicely in the back like that. There's room for some extra stuff. I'm not sure how crazy I am with this man purse strap here, but I do like the handle that they put here in the end. I like this quick transfer button in the base of the drone that will allow you to transfer images and footage directly from the drone to the smartphone without using the remote. And that combined with the partial download that will allow you to only download the piece of the footage that you actually need. Very fast and very convenient. That's a pretty nice addition. If you transfer your photos, they will automatically be enhanced when you view them in the DJI Fly App. This is pretty nice if you're not into editing, but I prefer to do that part myself. So DJI, hands off my photos. No worry, at least it's optional. You can use the Builtin Editor to edit some of the stunning footage that you record with the Mini 2. If you don't know this editor, I made a beginner's tutorial how to operate it, how to cut your first video. In case you're interested in learning how to use the app, then you can access this video through this card. On the previous Mavic Mini, you were able to set the smoothness of the gimbal by setting 2 parameters inside the DJI Fly App. DJI has taken that to a different level now. Now you can also slow down the yaw motion of the drone. So depending on how you're turning it, it will be a very smooth and slow motion. They have taken it a step even further, that now you have a separate set of parameters, gimbal and yaw settings for each flight mode. Depending on you're flying in sport mode, you're flying in normal mode, or you're flying in cinematic mode, you can have your own individual settings to customize the way that the drone behaves. And that is pretty handy, because sport mode, you would probably not use that for filming, and then you want the drone to react fast and really stop abrupt and react instantly, where if you are flying in normal mode or in cinematic mode, then you will have everything slowed down, so you have those nice smooth footage. I love that. That's a really nice addition for this drone. You're going on location and you discovered that you forgot your SD card. So what does that mean? Does that mean the whole shoot is ruined? In principle, no. You still have the option to record footage and take images and store them on your cell phone. But there are some limitations to this mode, and you are limited to recording 1080p, and all the nice stuff like quick shots and panoramas, they are off the table. At least you have something that you can bring back home. And now you're probably thinking, oh no, this guy, he's so positive all the time. Doesn't he have anything negative to say about the DJI Mini 2? I have, but I don't like about the Mini 2. It does not come as a surprise for people that know me that I don't like the screw mounting on the drone. I think they could have upgraded that part. This is primitive and you need to remember a screwdriver. It would be much easier with a quick swap solution like we know from the more expensive drones. And now some of you saying, oh, they can't keep the weight down because if they put in like extra plastic here, it will be too heavy. No, it's not. Actually, the drone has plenty of headroom. The new version with the new battery is only 238 grams. So there is plenty of room to be able to put in a quick swap solution here on for the props. The size of the controller. They kept the original size of the drone, but they introduced a controller that is a lot larger and heavier. And that has some pretty cool advantages, of course it has, but it also destroys a little bit about the ease of use and portability that the original one had. I wish they would allow us to connect the Mavic 2 Pro remote to the DJI Mini 2, because that will bring the controller down to a size like this while still maintaining the OcuSync. You have this nice option to shoot 180 degrees panoramas or 360 pictures, but when you're trying to upload them to social medias like Facebook, they're not being processed correctly as it is right now. It's just showing the flat image, which is not very 360 degree-ish. So that part is not working very well right now. You can do this with the Mini 1 and Litchi directly off the bat, and it works absolutely perfectly and you don't need to do anything. With that being said, the pictures that are being used are actually stored on the SD card, so you can manually stitch them with third-party software. It's much easier and much more convenient that you could just upload the photo and it will work right out of the box. This is definitely something that I would expect DJI would fix. Smaller thing that could be really nice, but it's a bit annoying, is when you are enabling quickshot modes, you lose all the controls like tilting the gimbal. You're not also capable of zooming while you are performing the quickshot. And why would you want to zoom while you're doing quickshots? Yeah, you could do some pretty nice like dolly zoom effects and stuff like that. That would be a lot easier if you could combine that with the quickshots. It's not a big thing, but it's still something that's annoying and could be fixed in software. It's a real shame the SDK is not available for the Mini 2, so you can use third-party apps like Litchi, adding cool functionality like active track and follow me mode. So right now, the Mavic Mini has more features than the Mini 2. I would expect DJI to correct this within 6 months from now. I have experienced on multiple occasions that the gimbal is being knocked out of position, and this is not only happening in sport mode like some reports that I've seen online that could be caused by excessive pitch of the drone. This is happening on pretty calm conditions when I'm flying sideways. The drone is suddenly doing something completely unpredictable and ruining your shot. I haven't seen a clear pattern in what is going on, but there's definitely something that DJI needs to look into. This is not something that you want the gimbal to do like this while you're recording your money shot. One thing that I don't like is that they are using context-sensitive menus, meaning that the context of the menus are changing depending on what shooting mode you put the camera into. So if you're shooting photos, you have one set of parameters under the camera tab. If you're switching into panoramas, you have another set of parameters, and so forth. This is very confusing and not very logical. They should put all the options inside under the camera tab and divide it into sections, or maybe make separate tabs or so. This is really bad and unlogical UI UX design. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. DJI throttles the speed when you are moving close to the ground. I did a maximum speed test because I was kind of curious. I couldn't make the drone go towards the maximum speed. And it turns out if you're flying close to the ground, close enough for the downward sensors to see the ground, DJI decides to throttle the speed. I know they probably have a ton of arguments why they need to do that. But if you like those low flying shots at high velocity, it's a shame that they limit the maximum speed. Lack of front facing sensors. Why did they put this ridiculous color shifting LED in the front of the drone? I think it's a waste of, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is for, because it's not bright enough so you can see it when it's up in the sky. So I think it's like a girlish cosmetic thing. I think it's more like a fashion statement from them, but it's completely useless if you ask me. They should have added front-facing obstacle avoidance instead, like we knew from the DJI Spark. And again, the argument will come up, oh, that will bring the weight over 250 grams. No, it was 238 grams. And I would think that they could easily have fitted in a sensor or two in the drone within that weight budget. They probably have considered it, but for some reason they've decided not to. It would have been nice, and I'm pretty sure that many that are new to the hobby would have appreciated that. So those were the negative things that I had to say about the DJI Mini 2, and there might be more to come. Do you have anything that you find annoying with the DJI Mini 2? Then let me know in the comment below. And I will also be releasing a video that is discussing if it's worth upgrading to the DJI Mini 2 if you already own a Mavic Mini. I hope you liked this video. If you did, then feel free to give it a like. If you didn't like it, feel free to press the dislike button twice. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you around.